When you think about the greatest inventors of all time, there are a few names that come to mind. Henry Ford, the Wright brothers, Thomas Edison. But there's one name that is not as recognizable. When you plug your phone in, turn on the lights, or use the refrigerator, you have Nikola Tesla to thank. This is the story of the forgotten genius, and the story begins at the end. On January 7th, 1943, a maid working at the New Yorker Hotel walked into room 3327, where she found the body of an 86-year-old man who had called the hotel home for the past decade. Tesla died alone and broke. He lived off a diet of warm milk and crackers and was obsessed with feeding the pigeons outside. One of the greatest inventors of all time faded into obscurity and died penniless. There is a reason why this happened, which will become clear by the end of this story. Tesla was born in the town of Smiljan, in present-day Croatia, on July 10, 1856. He was born during a lightning storm. According to family legend, the midwife said halfway through the birth, "This child will be a child of darkness," to which his mother replied, "No, he will be a child of light." Little did she know how prophetic those words would be. When Tesla was 5, he witnessed his older brother fall from a horse and later die. This event haunted him for the rest of his life. As a child, he began seeing visions accompanied by flashes of light, confusing what was real and what was imaginary. This never went away. These visions spurred his ability to conceive inventions in his head in such detail that he didn't even need to draw them out. He explained how the designs were perfected in his mind in an article in 1919. "Invariably, my device works as I conceived that it should, and the experiment comes out exactly as I planned it. In 20 years, there has not been a single exception." Tesla credits his mom for his interest in invention. Duca Mandic invented small household appliances in her spare time. She had an eidetic memory, the ability to recall an image from memory with high precision, and she passed this on to her son. Tesla's father was a priest and wanted him to become one too. But Tesla was interested in engineering. When he contracted cholera as a teen and nearly died, his father promised to send him to engineering school if he survived. And, miraculously, he did. He went to study in Austria at the Technical College of Graz, where he is said to have worked from 3 a.m. until 11 p.m. every day. Professors were worried that he would die from exhaustion. Tesla had a beautiful mind. He could perform calculus in his head and spoke 8 languages. He was a good student at the start, but would not finish school. He dropped out after becoming addicted to gambling and cut ties with his family so they wouldn't find out. His friends didn't know what happened to him either. They thought he had drowned in a river. Tesla moved around Europe and eventually ended up in Budapest, working as an electrician at a telephone company. One day, while walking around a park in the city, he had an epiphany about developing a new way of generating electricity using alternating current. This would become his greatest invention, and it would change the world. I'll explain more about AC a little later. In 1882, he settled in Paris to work for the French branch of Thomas Edison's electric company. He started off installing indoor lighting, but the managers noticed his talents and had him doing more complicated work, designing and building dynamos and motors. He was soon traveling throughout Europe, fixing problems at other Edison branches. 2 years later, in 1884, Tesla's manager offered him a job at Edison Machine Works in New York City. He agreed and arrived in America with only 4 cents in his pocket, because his money was stolen on the boat ride over. Tesla initially had a good impression of Edison. Edison was also impressed by Tesla, later saying, "I have had many hard-working assistants, but you take the cake." This mutual admiration didn't last. They would become bitter rivals. The two men disagreed over how electricity should be contained and delivered. Edison preferred direct current, where the electric charge only flows in one direction. Tesla, however, was a fan of alternating current, in which the electric charge changes direction periodically. Changing directions is crucial to maintaining a steady supply of electricity because it does not overpower outlets. This means it can provide more power and transmit power over longer distances. It's the reason AC powers our homes and large appliances, whereas DC powers smaller items like flashlights. But Edison didn't care about AC because it could have hurt the sales of direct current, as he owned all the patents for DC. According to Tesla, a manager at Edison's company offered him a $50,000 bonus if he could improve some machines that ran on DC. When he did, the manager refused to pay up. Another account of the story has Edison telling Tesla, "You don't understand our American humor." Regardless of how it played out, Tesla quit and set off to form his own electric company the following year, in 1885. But his investors showed little interest and decided to take the company and all of Tesla's patents, which they could do because Tesla had assigned the patents to the company in exchange for stock, which was now worthless. After losing his company, Tesla had to take a job digging ditches for $2 a day just to survive. But his fortunes would change. In 1887, Tesla invented an induction motor that ran on alternating current. The motor was the most efficient way to convert electricity to mechanical power. A version of it powers Tesla's vehicles, which took its name from the inventor. He patented the motor and showed it off the following year at the American Institute of Electrical Engineers, which caught the attention of George Westinghouse, a major player in the electric market, who realized Tesla's AC motor might be what he needed to complete his alternating current system and compete against Edison's DC system. So Tesla licensed the patents for the AC motor to Westinghouse for $60,000 and also received stock and royalties. Westinghouse hired him as a consultant for $2,000 a month, which is the equivalent of over $50,000 a month today. Westinghouse and Tesla's AC system triumphed, illuminating the 1893 World's Columbian Exposition and later powering the Niagara Falls hydroelectric plant. But Westinghouse's company fell into debt, and he pleaded with Tesla to reduce his royalties. Tesla, grateful for Westinghouse's faith in him, tore up his contract. He gave up millions, which would be worth over $300 million today. Tesla began work on wireless radio transmission, but a devastating fire destroyed his lab in 1895. Around the same time, Guglielmo Marconi patented his own radio, using Tesla's ideas. Though Tesla sued, the U.S. Patent Office ultimately awarded Marconi the credit, and he won a Nobel Prize in 1911. Tesla's declining fortune and mental health forced him to abandon his wireless dreams. His wireless tower was lost to foreclosure, and he lived out his days in solitude at the New Yorker Hotel. So why did one of the greatest inventors fade into obscurity and die penniless? Tesla was not a capitalist. He prioritized science over money, making decisions that others wouldn't, like tearing up his AC royalties contract. Yet Tesla did change the world. Today, thanks in part to Elon Musk's Tesla Inc., people are rediscovering this genius whose inventions power our lives.